3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Hashgraph. For everything Hedera Hashgraph related, with Peter Uliano, Mark Lombardi, and Jacob Williams.
Hello, this is Mark Lombardi, and I'm joined here today with Peter Uliano and Jacob Williams. We are the Hashgraph Chat, and we're going to be chatting about different Hashgraph topics. So this is episode 3. We've had a couple of really great discussions so far, and excited to kind of dig in here and see what Jacob has to start us off with. You got a hot topic to discuss?
Well,
not a hot.
What I wanted to talk about is I saw someone tweeting like, "What happened to episode 1?" And you're like,
"Oh, I liked that. I hit like."
Put away.
I didn't answer, but
exactly into the archives.
So a little bit what I want to talk about is something that was actually on our shelved episode, and I want to hit up copy minting and the protections or even lack of protections we can even take against it. And also, I kind of want to gloss over not like totally 100% legal advice, but what makes a NFT a security versus a commodity, just like for beginners, because there's an interesting article from Harvard Law, and just from my discussion with other people in the space that are creating projects on Ethereum,
Yeah.
And they're all lawyered up. So
this is not legal advice or financial advice. Don't take advice from either three of us for anything.
Yeah, I mean, my intro,
no life advice.
Panda for my intro. Don't take advice from me.
It's a raccoon.
It's a red panda. But anyway,
it's a trash panda.
It's a trash panda. But yeah, so I saw some memes, and like I feel bad for Hash Axis because they had that fiasco, with some copy minting, and I was actually in that thread, and I was like, listen, I said, I know people don't want to hear this, but the truth is, you got to do your own research.
Absolutely.
Like, if you really want an open platform, community flagging is literally the only thing you can do. And even curated platforms have a problem. I mean, Foundation has copy minters, makers, and you got Super Rare. You have I think I read with Foundation, but you have almost any platform, even curated or not, you're going to run into it. It's just, I think it's an impossible task to police it to the point that it's not, right? Because if you police it to the point that it's not, you're not going to have a platform. It's just not possible.
It gets sticky in a number of different areas because there's a million different ways to rip people off. You could rip off an artist that doesn't have anything minted on the blockchain and then claim that you minted it first and that you have provenance over it. You could also take something from another chain and mint it onto a different chain, and then hopefully it's not the same people that are in both, and you can, there won't be as many eyes on it. So there's a bunch of different ways, a bunch of different things that need to get patched up in order for people to have faith in making purchases.
And people are spinning this though now as, this is a problem unique to NFTs. But like I said in our shelved episode,
absolutely not.
This is like physical art is forged all the time. Like, I mean, it's something that happens. It's going to happen regardless of what you do.
Right, and there's probably more fake Louis Vuitton bags out there than there are real Louis Vuitton bags out there.
True,
so let's be honest with ourselves. But that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't make that stuff not wrong. But it should be, right, if somebody's selling Louis Vuitton bags on the corner in New York City, they can, I think it's almost harder to arrest them or prove that they're doing something wrong because you physically have to be there. But everything that's logged on Hashgraph or any other blockchain for that matter, you can actually see you can submit that to authorities and say, look, I have prior art here, or this is registered trademark, or they're ripping off my stuff, and I can prove it. Not that anybody is necessarily listening from a police standpoint to whether or not your art got ripped off. But at least there's recourse for someone who has the resources to seek it.
Yeah. So I just want to just as a community member, I just want to say cut them some slack. Actually, cut them all the slack. They've implemented the flagging measures. That's literally all they can do. They've implemented verified profiles. They've implemented flagging. I mean, literally, that's it. There's all they can do. There's nothing else
you could do.
Right, cut slack for the platforms, but I think we need to come down harder on people that are ripping off art. Like if they,
of course.
Public humiliation.
Yeah. I don't
put them in the gallows.
Cancel culture, but at the same time, I mean, it's. I think, it's. I don't want to say cancel them, but definitely report, flag, and do whatever you need to do and get them off.
But you also got to hear their side of the story too, because like I mentioned, the Gremlins that time by Nixa on Go Mint, he stopped making them on another chain, came to Hedera because he wanted to be on Hedera. People found his sold ones wherever they were sold, I don't remember, and they were like, "Oh, he double minted, blah blah blah," and he quit making art. He deleted all his profiles. He was like, I can't handle this. He's like, this is ridiculous. And meanwhile, he had good intentions. He didn't knowingly and willingly double mint an item to fool people.
It comes from a lack of information too, on people's parts.
It doesn't take much to put a bad taste in somebody's mouth either. Right? It's easy to scare people away from something that's new with a really bad experience.
Yeah, and not only that too, it's a new space and people don't know a lot about space. I mean, as people, we're kind of self-centered. We think we know everything, we really don't. And for the most part, I see a lot of people that they don't know, other than hey, I can buy an NFT, but what is copy minting? What is making an artistic variation of something? They just don't understand that simple premise, and then they lash out. And I've even seen community members in even the Hbar community, they've taken upon themselves to be hall monitors and these are the legit projects, right?
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm like, who are you to police the ecosphere and determine what is legit and what's not legit? Where's your credentials, sir? Other than good morning. So I don't. Yeah, do your own research. I mean, follow up on the provenance. Check their Twitter profiles. See how back far they go. See if there's consistency in their work and stuff like that. And more times out of not, you'll be okay if you just put in the minimum amount of research.
You just reminded me of something I saw on Twitter today. Brady from Hedera, his product marketing. He tweeted an article, and it was a real art gallery, and it says security guard got bored and ruined a $1 million painting. It was like a blank face, and he drew eyes on it, and Brady was like, "I'd like to see you try this with an NFT," and I was like, "Wait, though, I could literally screenshot this, draw googly eyes on it, and then double mint it onto another platform. It can happen with an NFT, but it just reminded me because of the double minting. I'm like, and you see a lot of people doing that. They're taking screenshots, and they're minting them on a different platform.
Well, a friend of mine was asking me. A friend of mine that wants to get into NFTs was asking me because he wants to do pop culture stuff, photos of famous people in sepia tone or whatever, whatever other effects are applied to the image, because he sees a lot of that stuff out there. And he's asking me, should I do that? And I don't, I think you should try and make your art as much yours as you possibly can. But it makes a good point. You've got the Campbell Soup artwork, and so where is the line on that kind of stuff? When is something pop culture enough that you can take somebody's likeness and reuse it as your own artwork?
It has to have artistic expression. You got to make it your own.
But that's fine. But can I take a picture? Can I take a picture of you, Peter, and then doll it up, do all kinds of stuff to it, and then issue it as?
If I'm in a public space, if I'm in a public place, and you take a picture of me, that's your right, and you can do whatever you want with that picture.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's the law.
No, I don't think that's entirely true. Like,
As long-
you'll see, like, even like on Impractical Jokers, that TV show, they're in a public space. The people that don't sign waivers,
They need
and consent
releases.
forms,
Absolutely.
they
They
blur
do
their
that.
faces.
They do that as a courtesy, though. Like,
Okay.
so let me give you an example. Like, so when I was a cop, there's this old man walking down the beach taking pictures of little girls, like taking pictures of girls in bathing suits, right? And of course, the parents call the cops, like, hey, there's this pervert on the beach, this and that. And the cops' answer usually is, like, we'll talk to him, we'll try to figure out why he's doing this, but you're in public and he's not breaking any laws.
Right. You have no legal
Like-
recourse.
Yeah, so it gets, like, there's gray areas and everything, I guess, but
Right. You can ask people to leave as a favor, but that's really all they can do. You can't really
I guess
kick
though,
somebody out of a
like
public space.
like Jacob said, if you're making money off of my image that you take of me in a public space, then I guess maybe you do need a model release because I don't know, you're profiting
off of your
my
likeness.
image.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, at what point is it his likeness versus some
When it's
augmented
his
version
face.
of? But what if it's not exactly his face? What if it's a cartoonized version of his face, or an oil paintingized version of his face, or what if?
Depends on how famous Peter is.
Well, he's
No,
super
again,
famous,
you just-
right? So
you just-
Remember the Lindsay Lohan suing
Wait.
Rockstar Games? You remember that? Way back, Lindsay Lohan sued Rockstar Games because they did a whole side mission of like a really stuck-up star that you had to like bust around and like taxi and bring him places. And I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4, and she sued saying, "This is literally me."
it was clearly
But, like,
her, but they never paid her anything.
Yeah,
for
but
the
that could have been
likeness.
defamation or something that she sued for because are you guys familiar with Shepard Fairey, the graffiti artist?
No.
No.
All right, do you remember, so he's a famous graffiti artist, but do you remember like when Obama was running for president, he had his face, it was like
Yeah, the
red,
hope.
white, and blue.
Yeah, that
the
whole
Hope
thing.
poster.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking
Okay.
Yeah, all right, so Shepard Fairey made that,
Okay.
and Time Magazine sued him because they were like, no, this is our picture from the cover of Time Magazine that you took this image from. And he was like, no, I didn't. He was like, a photographer took this image and gave it to me. And like they had this big legal battle, and I'm pretty sure Shepard Fairey won because the picture on Time Magazine looked exactly the same as the picture 100 other photographers took at the same convention.
Right.
So they were like, yeah, it's not your image. But Obama couldn't sue. Well, Obama commissioned him to do it, I believe. But my point is, like, so what is artistic and what is not? Because Time was like, no, that's our picture. All you did was, add a few filters to it and claimed it's yours.
But what's nice is that argument has been going on for the length of time that art has been being produced. So it's not necessarily an issue that's specific to NFTs or blockchain or anything like that. And I think that blockchain and things like Hashgraph really help to put that provenance in place so that if, again, legal recourse is needed, then you can go back and call up upon the transactions and timestamps and when things happened and be able to prove that, I did this from this, or, I think that's, we may have talked about it in the first episode, but I think that, the idea that there's other stuff that you can put into your NFT just besides the JPEG, like source files and things like that, I think
Unlockables.
right unlockables, but also like this is the file that everything was created. So you're buying the image, right? You're buying the NFT
metadata,
that has the image as what's being presented to the public, but you're also getting the proof of how that file was created along with it, so that you can, I guess, show.
Yeah, and that's
proof
why I
of
like
creation.
they have the transaction. You just go and you plug it into like the block explorer. Let's just call it that, for just like broadly to cover every single chain, and it'll pull up everything: the time, the date, like literally everything, the gas used, where it went to, where it's going. So yeah, there's a
and there's
huge
a couple of
fingerprint.
there's a couple of good NFT explorers on Hedera now too.
Yeah, I was. Here's a topic for conversation: Dragon Glass. I almost see them as having the potential to become the Google of of Hedera Hashgraph in that they seem to be the one that's capable of being able to organize all of this information, and I think that they could position themselves as such as time goes on. I don't know if either of you have heard from any of the Dragon Glass team and what they're
owned by Drop.
building. Yeah, they are owned by Drop. Oh, that's right. You've been in contact with Drop because you're doing some stuff with them, I think.
Yeah, they're owned by Drop. I like Dragon Glass a lot. I had one complaint about Dragon Glass, and I told Sean over at Dragon Glass, and he was like, "Oh, you just change it in the top." I was like, "Everything's in tiny bars." I was like, "I think like I got a balance of 4 million H bar," and I'm like, "I don't." And he's like, "No, there's a toggle switch." I was like, "Oh, I never even noticed it."
That's awesome because that confuses the heck out of me. I can't move decimal places like that and look at stuff and try and figure out exactly what got pitted. Was this something that cost like 100 H bar, or was it 1 H bar, or am I broke and all of my H bars gone?
In bear season, you keep tiny bars on, and in bull season, you keep them off.
An interesting fact about that toggle switch is he actually told me, I believe, I might misquote him here, but I believe he told me Lehman was like, "Hey, you should add a feature to switch it between tiny bars and H bars." And they were like, "Okay."
Right. But it comes from you, and they're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. All of a sudden, Lehman steps up and did Lehman steal your idea, Peter?
No, it's not my idea. They're nice guys over at Drop, though. I got to say, Drop, and I met the two developers because the two developers for Drop are actually the two developers that work on Dragon Glass for them as well.
So I haven't been into Drop lately, but when it first came out, I put $50 on there and then realized that there's nothing. You have to like spend it specifically on people who have Drop up and running. And at the time, there was nobody that was other than Dragon Glass APIs. There was nothing to use Drop for. So I haven't gone back and checked since then. So I don't know if they've got any partners.
They have a whole presentation. I don't think this is. They didn't tell me not to tell anybody this, but They have a whole presentation that I have, and it's actually very interesting. They're going to be going after vending machines for micropayments with your Drop.
Very cool.
Parking meters with Drop. So essentially, like anything that Drop is integrated into parking meters, vending machines, and everything, you'll be able to pay with HBAR if you want.
Well, that stuff is really cool. Like, I think. Parking meters is a really good example because when it's a quarter, you're not going to stick a credit card into a machine but I guess you can. But at the same time, the expense of that transaction is higher than the actual transaction itself. So I don't understand how it makes it worth it.
And Drop is something like, I was looking for the paper on my desktop. I can't find it right now, but Drop is something like 20 times cheaper than like PayPal and like Square or Stripe. Like their transaction fees are like pretty much not non-existent, but
yeah, that's why when you go to like a food truck and you want to buy just like a water bottle, like no, you got to buy 5 water bottles.
Yeah.
Because like it doesn't even cover the cost of the transaction. And I have a friend, he runs C7 Performance Shop, and he tells me all the time he's always looking for an alternative to what he uses because the processing fees are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the credit cards, and like he'll end up getting like a bill, and it's just tens of thousands of dollars just in fees.
Yeah, I think
you're making a lot of money, but it's it adds up.
I think FPOS have they launched their micropayment system over in Australia? I heard some news about them doing something, but I can't remember if people.
I think it was like a loyalty reward or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
That was it.
Yeah, and I think it's related to Hedera, but I remember seeing some comments on Twitter that's like, "Where's the Hedera? How is this related? Please say whether or not it's related." And I know FPOS is very well outspoken that they're using Hedera, so I'm hoping that they can help the community out by verifying that the stuff that they're building is using Hedera. Kind of on this is using Hedera. Yes, this is using Hedera, and then we'll all be happy.
What I think is really cool, and this kind of plays off, like it's almost, I don't know if like someone heard us or something, but we were talking about like you specifically, Mark. You're like, why aren't there any games right now?
Oh yeah, and then the day after that,
slime
that
game
slime
comes
game
out,
come on.
and
and
Peter-
Ubisoft.
and then Ubisoft,
Right.
and then
I am willing it all into existence.
yeah, but me and Peter are kind of like in a contest right now. We're like one level away from each other in this game, and it's really interesting. It's just like a tower defense game.
Yeah,
You
I did
guys-
play it. Yep.
Yeah, it's fun actually. I did spend real fiat to unlock, all the gold mining stuff. So I spent like, $20 I think it was, to unlock everything, something like that. But I like it a lot. It's a good system, and they'll probably make more money off of the people
In-app
paying the
purchases?
$5 per app than anything they'll ever make.
Probably.
NFT wise,
can-
probably.
Did you see you can't even cash out now to get your
Yeah, there was
Nada,
a,
whatever hack or something a scam? They were like milking them for their Nada tokens.
Yeah, it's probably like people run like trainers and bots and stuff. And I can imagine a lot of people are making like. Remember, I told you in Telegram. I said, "Hey, there's like a big flaw here." I said, "I have an iPad. My wife has a thing. I can make multiple wallets, download it multiple times on different devices, play it, then siphon the tokens right into one account. Like I can go buy burner phones and I can keep doing that. Like I can spend $30. Yeah, they have."
Jacob's got an operation going here.
Just picture a whole like folding table set up with like old school like Android phones. But I think that's probably what's happening, and they're probably like, "Whoa, what's going on?" But I can't say for sure because I'm not on the team. But I said before, I said, "Hey, like I can literally just like my wife has it downloaded on her phone, and I'm gonna start playing on hers, and then I'm gonna send them to me." It's technically not wrong. Because it's two different devices, two different wallets, but
Have you ever seen the video of that guy? I think I don't know exactly where he is, but I think he's in Japan and he's riding a bike around and he's got this big stand of smartphones and he's playing Pokemon Go on like 50 different phones, riding his bike around the city.
That's amazing. But no,
but people game the system like that. It's crazy how much time and effort people
really
put
cool
into
because
it.
It's a play to earn game, and you get these tokens that will eventually be used as a currency for NFTs. Aha, segue into this Harvard Law article on what makes a security versus a commodity, and they've got it down pretty perfect, right? Because they have the utility of the token is to buy NFTs. Okay, so when you get your token, it's worth $0, right? So you play the game, it's worth nada. Exactly, Peter, it's worth nada. But the NFTs will be worth something depending on what the market decides they are. So they can put out an NFT and say, this is going to be 80 nadas, and people may trade them for 20,000 nadas between each other. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, throwing numbers out there, and it's a commodity, right? So they've implemented the utility correctly, and that goes on to this article that's saying, again, I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't advice or anything, but it's from .law, Harvard, EDU. They put a lot of articles out, and it was talking about securities versus commodities, and the underlying theme here is don't promise something that's not yet in existence, right? So if I take an NFT and I say, hey, if you buy this NFT in the future, you're gonna get this. It's gonna be able to do this. It's security now. You need to have, hey, here's this NFT. It does this. Now it does this right now. It's a commodity.
Yeah, and that's the thing I was talking about on Twitter Spaces a while ago. Like I was telling people, they're like, "Hey, buy my NFT and you'll get 5% of all my future sales." I'm like, "No, that's not." They're like, "Real utility." I'm like, "No, that's security. That's not utility."
That's like, really a security.
Like you're gonna get in trouble, and if you're not, if you don't get in trouble, because everybody was like, "Well, regulations aren't here yet," and I was like, "Well, why bring the eyes to Hedera then? why have all the eyes focus on us? Because
Hedera is perfectly safe, but those people might very well be in trouble with the SEC if they. Well, I mean, if their project blows up, that's when the SEC gets involved and is like, "Oh yeah, you made tons of money off of this." Not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it creates so many taxable events. Like, that's why you want to stay so far away from as security as possible, because like every time it moves, you get taxed. Like, if I were to do something and say I made an NFT and I may get 10%, but each time it goes somewhere and it gets sold, the IRS is going to come back to me wanting cuts of every single action that's happening. And that's kind of, to me, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, but that's kind of impossible though.
For that, I mean, there's not enough manpower on this planet for them to track something like that. But I'm just saying, like, for something like that, but that's like with Wafu token, you know, the token's going to be a currency for the game and the NFT platform, and then you have Seifu, which will be a staking token of Wafu that's going to be specifically like how Nada is doing, where, hey, if you have so much Nada, you can get this NFT, right? It's not, there's no liquidity pool behind Seifu. Behind Wafu token, there will be an LP pool to have an Hbar pair, but it's just
so
they did it really well.
So Seifu just winds up becoming a proof that you've played the game or participated in this.
It's our staking rewards token that will then be used like kind of like Nada, where we will have specific NFTs that you can buy.
Oh,
and
it's
then,
okay.
Yeah, so
you're staking Waifu, and you receive Seifu from staking Waifu.
Yeah, and there will be different ways to spend both tokens. You know, because it's going to be a game. So we have plans in store. You know, I can't promise anything right now exactly, right? Because if I do, I don't have the utility to back up my claims right now, and I don't want to release something, and then someone be, oh, that's a security now. So you got to really be like, about stuff.
Yeah, keep your nose clean, as my uncle used to say.
But it's funny because Baptiste, like I was talking to Baptiste, he's been seeing lawyers like, you know, all week, and he's literally picking up bags and he's moving to a crypto-friendly country.
Yeah, that stuff's crossed my mind too. I'd love to.
Where's he moving to?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I know he brought up, like he mentioned, like Cyprus, Malta, Ireland. The lawyer
Malta is amazing, both for crypto, and it's beautiful, man.
The lawyer just told him, I guess, like a bunch of different places he should move to, because you know, he's successful in this business.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, lazy
he's very
superheroes,
successful.
all that stuff. He's
Oh yeah, he's not just with lazy. He's more.
No,
than,
I
he's
know.
Like
There's
so
a ton
many projects. Yeah, people don't even realize, like, Baptiste does not let grass grow beneath his feet. Like,
he's a hard-working dude.
Yeah, doing something. And we were talking about, I was like, you know, he asked for Waifu. He's like, well, you know, you'd have to revoke your citizenship. I'm like, no, not a chance. I would never, you know. When
you revoke your citizenship too, so in the United States, if you revoke your citizenship, you are liable for basically liquidating all of your assets at that point. They want to tax you for everything that you own that you would bring over to the new country. I saw something. There's a family called the Bitcoin family. They've been traveling the world for a long time. I guess they just moved to Portugal, and I've been telling my wife, like, if Hedera takes off, let's go to Portugal. I want to live in the Azores or something like that. Or Puerto Rico is certainly on the table as well.
Yeah. We got way off topic on that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. It was just it's an interesting topic.
I got a topic.
Go for it.
Well, it's not really a topic. It's just curiosity. So on Twitter lately, I'm seeing people say about Hedera, like, hey, these people are the OGs. And I'm not going to mention any names. And I'm looking through their list of OGs, and I'm like, these are people that, like, just popped up. And I'm like, and like, these are NFT creators or people making projects on Hedera. They're like, oh, these are the real OGs. And I'm like, do they not know, like, everything that's been going on for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I
don't know.
wouldn't
I just
even
wanted to
consider
bring it up.
myself an OG, and I've been with Hedera for like about a year, and I'm not even an OG. You know who's the real OG? Hbar Hippo. R.I.P. Hbar Hippo.
Who's Hbar Hippo?
Who's that?
You got
Everyone will know who Hbar Hippo is.
They are now.
A whale. He was a whale, right?
Yeah.
And he invested a ton of money, supposedly. And I think he's gone now. He got like so pissed at the crab walk, and he just bounced. But yeah, if people listening, they'll know about Hbar Hippo. Even though if you guys don't, you guys maybe are too OG to know about Hbar Hippo. Because he's like year-old news.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Hbar Price is I would consider OG for sure. But he's kind of gone. He's been speaking up quite a bit lately in against Hedera and saying.
Well, yeah. Did you see what happened with this Telegram? Oh man.
Yeah, he shut the Telegram down, and now I know, Peter, you were kind of instrumental in bringing that other Telegram channel up.
No, that's not me.
No, you weren't? Oh, you're a moderator there, though, right?
No. Which one? The one with 14,000? The new one that's like decentralized with no leader?
400 or 500 people in it or something like that?
No, that's not me. That's a few of the moderators from Hbar Price chat made that chat, and I mean I invited people there, but no, I have nothing to do with it. And it's a leaderless chat. The way they made it, it's pretty cool actually.
The Hbar Lounge is the one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, they made the chat, and then the owner of the Telegram chat deleted his account, so that there's no owner and nobody could delete it, and then
that's awesome.
There's just admins. It's pretty cool.
I actually kind of thought that was the way that Hbar Price was going to go, and that he was just going to leave everything behind for the moderators, and then it would be, more of a decentralized. It was just his
bots. Always comedy now in there.
Yeah, I don't know really what happened, but I mean, but he has a project on Hedera, Hbar Price. He has Earth Tile.
Yeah.
So, and he's an MVP. He's a Hedera MVP. So, I mean,
yeah,
I don't think he's just really talking.
Yeah. He's being critical,
I don't think he was
but
talking trash.
Yeah, I don't think so. I agree. Mm-hmm. Which is fine. But I think it kind of upset the apple cart for a lot of people who are like, hey, you are somebody who everybody looks to, and I don't know that you're giving enough context to what you're talking about, that it just seems like you're shitting on Hedera. Which I guess from the surface, it kind of did look like that. You got somebody who's got a lot of followers on Twitter, who's got a lot of Hedera followers, and they've got influence. And I think maybe better educating people about what you're upset about instead of, I don't know, at times what he was saying felt like it was poking the bear. But
what I don't like about the space, and it gets this way, and I don't think there's a way to avoid it, is that it gets very campy, with consoles, it's PlayStation versus Xbox and all these things, and you almost can't even say anything negative, even if it's true, and it helps the community, you get pounced on. You know what I mean? And it's just like, man, I wish that we can actually have an open dialogue, positive or not.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's funny,
But that's what gets people talking, and it's what gets changes happening is when people talk. I mean,
discourse makes change.
Yeah, there was something I brought up a long time ago. It was probably like 6 months ago. I think it was on a Twitter Spaces. Oh no, it was a tweet I tweeted, and people were like, I got some hate for it. I don't even remember what it was about. And then other people were like, no, this is good because without this conversation, changes wouldn't happen.
Right.
So you have both ends. You have the people who are going to attack you for it, and then you have the people who are like, no, this is good. We need conversation to...
I definitely
that's
why these podcasts are good.
There are a
just
lot
like
of
the
people...
Exact Wallet. I was in the Discord. People were saying the same thing. They're like attacking this. I forget what was going on with it, but someone's like, someone had to make a new wallet because we couldn't even see our NFTs before, and now there's all these different things now, but Exact Wallet preceded that, and they brought forward this, and then someone can build off that, and it needs to happen. There's going to be hiccups and mistakes along the way, like there is anything. And so someone was basically kind of parroting your line of thought, Peter, there in the Discord channel, which I thought was nice to hear. I'm sorry, Mark, I interrupted you.
No, it's all right. Actually, do we want to switch topics a little bit here? Because I wanted to talk about the. Hold on a second. Let me get the name of it because I don't want to get it wrong.
It was Earth Tile.
No, it was the wood. What the Meta Wood.
Meta Wood.
So
Morning Wood.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about phygital items. So physical. I don't even remember who coined
Phygital.
that. Somebody
We were
in
just
the
talking
Hedera.
about that on
Somebody in Hedera.
Dr. Iglesias. I'm going to say his name wrong.
Dr. Glazius, like a donut?
No,
Dr.
what?
I'm Dr. Glazius, and I run a donut shop.
No, but he didn't coin it, he said, because we were talking about it on that other, Creative Coast video.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't coin it. He said he heard other people using it, and then he used it as well.
I love that name. I hope I don't get his right name because I want that name to be the name that's stuck in my head.
Cool. So this guy Nathan Phipps is created a project called MetaWood. He's on Depub, and he made a video to go along with what he's doing, and he built a coffee table. Like made a really nice hardwood coffee table, all dovetail, no nails or anything like that, all fit together, wood crafting. And he tokenized it. So there's an NFT that goes along with the physical table, but then he also made digital versions of the table as well. So they're metaverse ready to be able to almost kind of like the rugs. The pixel rugs.
That's a nice coffee table.
Yeah, but so it's not a pixel coffee table. It's an actual looking coffee table that would go into a metaverse. And I thought that project was really cool. He also built an NFC chip into the leg of the table so that when you scan it with your phone, it brings up the NFT of the table. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about mixing real world items with NFTs. I know Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who's going to be who's with NFT.com, and his focus he wants to be in the watch world where he's using the verification of certain high-end watches that are appraised, taking that appraisal and then tokenizing it so that you can then have that appraisal, or not appraisal, but validation or verification that it's an original watch. If it's a Rolex or a FP Journe or something like that, people want to make sure that it's not a knockoff, and this is one way to be able to do that. So I think those are really interesting and exciting angles that people are taking, and I just kind of wanted your thoughts on that.
Okay, sorry. I think that I can add to that. I actually saw a tweet today. BitPixie @BitPixie on Twitter retweeted someone. It was like a dive bar. It was an augmented reality dive bar. So it was kind of like a metaverse, but in the real world. It was almost like Pokemon Go, but it was a real building, and you could walk inside. And like there was stools, there was like stairs. So I don't know if someone actually went through and scanned it and then built voxels around everything. So it was like you're there. Like there was the door. It was a voxel door, and they walked right through the door, and then there was the inside of the bar. It was crazy. He was like there, but he was just using his phone the whole time. It was pretty neat. And also seeing galleries where, I think this is in Japan, where it was kind of like an empty plaza square, and they have like just things hanging, and then like NFTs show up, and you put your phone or you scan the QR.
Like AR.
Yeah.
So there was maybe it's Gary Vaynerchuk that's doing it, but somebody is opening a speakeasy in New York City where the access to it is tokenized. Where to get into a real speakeasy club in New York, you would have to have this NFT to be able to get into the club. So I think cool stuff like that. I know there's restaurants that are doing stuff like that as well, where it's a smaller restaurant and you need to have the NFT that doesn't get you the food, but that gets you a reservation at this small popular restaurant.
Yeah, no, and you were talking about physical buildings too. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys or not. A friend of mine, from my law enforcement career, he does now traffic reconstruction forensics and traffic accident reconstruction forensics or something like that.
Okay.
But he has these scanners. I never seen it in person, but it has like 60,000 laser dots, and there's only like 4 people in the country that are allowed to use this thing or are certified to use it. But he puts it in the street, and like he could scan the whole environment, the cars and everything. It's all to scale, and it goes on the computer, and it's all in 3D, and it looks real. He actually showed me, he did a Corvette, and he was like, this Corvette is completely in 3D, and it was a real car. Like, you could see inside, see what was on the car. I was like, hey, like, I need to borrow this and make NFTs. but he actually, they scanned a stadium for this company because he also does like security consulting. So they scanned the whole stadium, like, and found all the, the weak points and stuff. But I told him, I was like, you could scan a stadium with this and sell each individual seat as an NFT. Like the possibilities would be endless.
I think that's cool you bring that up, because I was really big into sim racing with the whole setup, and Project Cars is a game, and they use the same thing. They actually use the 3D scanner that you're talking about. Go to all the racetracks and scan, and it will even pick up divots and everything, angles. So like if there's a pothole that's been patched in Daytona, like it'll show up on the track, and you'll actually hit it as if it was there, because it was 3D scanned to like just like that. So yeah, they use it for a lot of the racing games, so you get a realistic pavement. That's awesome. And it's just really cool.
And Mark, you brought up the coffee table with the NFC chip.
Yeah.
So I recently just made press passes for Hbar.news, right?
Yeah.
And it's my NFT, that NFT Jesus made
did,
me.
Yeah.
But I have an NFC chip on the back, so if you scan on the phone my press pass, it instantly brings up an NFT of my press pass.
That's awesome.
So like, I like bridging those gaps, like you said, like bringing them all together. Especially like, I mean, Hbar.news, if I'm going to NFT NYC, everybody has a press pass. I'll stand out like, hey, I'm on Hedera and my press pass is an NFT.
I wonder if you can then, if let's say you had an NFT that you made that was your personal, you met Peter Uliano NFT. You could carry that around and then let people scan it, and then that could give them access to a site where they can download it for free, but only if they scanned your NFC tag that they get the opportunity to, right? So you only, if I let you scan this, you have my personal, you saw me NFT. That would be could be really big for influencers.
And I know I brought him up in the past, but Jordan Kuhn from Held NFTs, like I've had a few conversations with him. He's a real nice guy, but he is really like focused on digital items. I mean, he has like some stuff in the work. He has fossils that he's like making into NFTs. He has other things that I'm sure I'm probably not supposed to talk about, so I'm not going to say anything. But like his plans like are crazy. I mean, he even figured out a way, like Hedera had the sunglasses with the Soku NFC, and they couldn't get them to work properly. And he came up with this whole thing like with NFCs, and he's like, oh, like I could do it, like attach it to this part of the glasses. Like, but he's figured out like a bunch of stuff, and he's even doing stuff with like cars and everything, real cars and everything. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was a guy during the last hackathon who he had a physical fitness tracker, and it was tied to Hedera, and it was logging his steps and things like that as he was making them. Right, to show like you can do this and make a transaction every second if you want at a low cost. But I don't know if anything ever came of it. I don't think he won any of the awards from the hackathon either. But
that tag though.
But he was ahead of his time for sure.
Is for Miami.
Yes.
Peter's going to Miami.
Yes.
I'm going to Miami.
Yeah, Crypto World Con,
Yes.
Miami, April 1st. And then I'm going to NFT NYC, and Mark's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm going to
come over
NFT
there.
NYC, but I wish I could go down to Miami, but not going to happen.
So it'll be fun to see you, Peter, down there.
That's awesome.
But I'm excited, and I'm already bugging Peter because I was like, I want one of those tags, man.
Yeah, those are cool to play around with.
NFC stickers are so cheap though. Like I got a whole box of them. There's like 400 in here, and I literally bought it for like $10. Like,
that's awesome.
Ton of NFC stickers. Like, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I was gonna say you can use those NFC stickers for all kinds of stuff, like for around your house, for lost. You can tag your remote with it, or all kinds of other stuff. Make it easy to be able to integrate with other smart home appliances. And so here's something my wife and I were talking about the other day. So Google has their Google Home, and obviously Amazon Alexa and all that kind of stuff, where you've got a screen in your house that you can speak to that also shows artwork in the background. And we were saying, wouldn't it be awesome if this screen automatically integrated with your Hedera wallet or any other wallet, OpenSea or something like that, where
Samsung
does?
Yeah. Samsung has something with Hedera, I think, where they're going to integrate.
I don't know what that said. That just like popped up on my screen.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember. I don't even know what you said, but I can't. Whatever it said, rest in peace, somebody.
But no, I heard a while ago something with Hedera and Samsung. Samsung TVs are going to have a feature where, as a screensaver, you can display your NFTs, and they're going to have like an NFT marketplace on their TV. So
That's
like
really
you could
cool.
buy an NFT, and then it will be displayed on your wall like art when you're not watching TV.
That'll be helpful, and I think that will help to bring some authenticity to some of that. Right? If they put their money and resources into being able to verify that an NFT is authentic and real, and that you can display it on this screen, then that helps to bring credibility to the whole space, so that people can then have more trust to make purchases for NFTs, because there's an ecosystem that when somebody sees this NFT on my screen, they know that it's a real NFT because somebody else, because some verification went into it.
I just sent you guys the link for the Samsung TV thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. Like, I went into regular Twitter, which is a dangerous zone. And
regular Twitter? Is there irregular Twitter?
Non-crypto Twitter?
Non-crypto Twitter.
Oh,
and there are people out there who absolutely hate with like venom people that participate in NFTs. Like, people, it had like over like 90,000 retweets. I think it's probably over 100,000 by now, but it was like a hexagon Twitter profile picture when Twitter was like, hey, you can upload NFT now as your profile picture. They made like a marked safe from NFT, and it's like the hexagon profile was on fire, and like everyone was just like, yeah, retweet this if you are safe from NFTs. I'm like, what are like?
That's because they think that all NFTs are like killing the environment, and granted, like on some chains they're bad for the environment.
Yeah, they are.
But when you try to tell somebody like, hey, Hedera's carbon negative, show me the research, I don't believe that. Then you send it to them and they don't reply. Like,
and it's not even just Hedera. There's a lot of cryptos out there that aren't Ethereum, or Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum are like two of the biggest, or if not the biggest, gas guzzlers in existence. They're the ones that give everything a bad name when it comes to energy consumption.
It's very easy to take a look at a project like Bored Ape Yacht Club on the surface and say, why are people spending $1 million on these silly pictures? these silly monkey pictures. That's what the people that aren't in the NF space.
Listen, man, I'm in this space. And I say the same thing.
Me too.
Right. So yeah, some stuff is definitely overbought, but the reason that people are so excited in the NFT space about this stuff is because it's the precursor for what's to come. I don't know that anybody's really overly excited about everything that's out there right now. People are really excited about what's out there now and what it becomes, what it enables, what it develops into. That's why people, and really art is the easiest thing to be able to visualize the technology and what it can do. I think it's the least common denominator, and it's easy to attach to and for people to like, which is why it's been so successful so far. But I don't think the success of NFTs in the future really has much to do with art at all.
And neither do I, but let me ask you a question art-wise with NFTs. How come, and this confuses me, I mean, is it just society? How come, like, this picture of a cartoon ape sells for $420,000, whereas somebody who's creating, like, a really unique digital painting or something is selling for $100.
Well, it comes back to that utility question, right? What other value are they adding to the project? And Bored Ape Yacht Club has offered a lot of, or maybe not millions of dollars of value to the people that have it, but they're offering a club, just like the Speakeasy in New York that's opening up. They've kind of created a virtual speakeasy for very wealthy people, like a yacht club, like a country club. People that have money like to be around other people that have the same kind of money. They have a lot in common with those people, and it's a way to kind of filter out society so that you're only around other like-minded people. Is it a horrible thing, and should we all just not care how much money somebody has? Yeah, but that's not the way that society works.
But also there's two flip sides to that. One side is just literally a high floor, right? Someone is successful in selling it, then everyone else prices it, and it becomes the standard, right? That's what happens.
But how do you know though they're not? And this is a problem in NFTs too. How do you know they're not just paying somebody to buy it to set the floor price?
We don't know, and I'm sure it happens in a lot of projects. But like with Punks, Larva Labs, they gave Punks away for free in the very beginning. And they were selling for over $300,000, some going for $1 million. They have zero utility. There is zero community built around Punks. Mm-hmm. Larva Labs isn't even involved with the project. They were just like a one-off. Here's some cool things with some new tech. NFTs are cool. Let's just give out this project. And there's no utility. There's no nothing. And they're still worth hundreds of thousands of dollars just because people perceive the value to be that as such. And BAYC is a little bit different. Like they do have utility, like I said, like, last NFT New York City, they had like passes for an actual yacht party. They can get in different places, and it was kind of like a members only kind of thing like Mark was talking about. But that is the minority. The majority of those profile pick projects that you see, their roadmap consists of another drop or a pet to go with your NFT that you spent $300,000 on that made magic correctly. So, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend that there's like some grand scheme that they're gonna come up with something amazing. That's why they're selling so well. It's just that people want to make money, right? That's why Bored Apes are doing so well, because they want money, and that's really
But that's what I think. That's why I think like regular Twitter doesn't like NFTs, because they see it as a cash grab. And
they think it's a pyramid scheme. They think it's a pyramid scheme. Like legit, they think crypto's a pyramid.
No, well, not crypto, but a lot of the NFTs are a cash grab.
Like, yeah, it's a cash grab. I think it's a little hostile to call them pyramid schemes, only because pyramid schemes have a structure to them. A lot of these, a lot of these projects don't have structure to them. They're literally just it's an artist or a small team of graphic artists who release a collection, right? And
Yes.
it's just art for the sake of art, and that doesn't make it a pyramid scheme.
No,
it might
okay.
make
Try to
people
explain
silly
that to
for
them, though.
right.
It's the problem. Trying to explain that to them is the problem. They don't want like some maybe yes will come around. I think the majority. I think there needs to be, and I think it's helping with the larger presence of celebrities like Paris Hilton. You have LeBron James. I don't like LeBron James personally, but I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing with Hedera. So these people will move some people into the camp and maybe get them reading on the subject for real instead of just listening to my friend heard from their friend, they said this, and I'm basing my whole entire opinion on something that I have not done a shred of research on. So I think once we move past that, we're able to get more people in.
Well, and here's where Calaxy takes a real pole position here. Is there something where you've got a whole bunch of celebrities and athletic names that people know and recognize, and they're going to be able to provide a new kind of value that I think the general public will have an easier time wrapping their head around. This now gives me access to this famous person, in a way that I wouldn't have otherwise had access to it. By the way, when are they coming out? That's got to be. They were Q1, weren't they? It was supposed to. No,
I thought they were Q2. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
You know, but
that also is that's very niche too, though. I mean, like Mark, are you gonna pay?
No, I don't care about sports at all.
To be in somebody's fan club.
With you.
But if there was a one for music, like if there was a Calaxy for music and it gave me access to all of my favorite musicians, yeah, I'm
Tune FM. Here's an idea.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. See, me personally, like, I mean, I'm a fan of people. Like, I like their music, or I think somebody's a good actor, or hey, this person's a very talented basketball player. But I would never, in my life, pay for somebody's autograph, pay to join their fan club, or generally think they're better than me. Like, I don't know. You got to be a special kind of person for that.
It really depends. It really depends on what you're passionate about, right? Like, if you're passionate about something, then it's important to you to be able to connect with someone at that level.
Taylor Swift. I'm passionate about Taylor Swift.
I can take you by her house. She has a house over in Rhode Island.
That won't be creepy at all.
No, well, no. It's in a super populated area, and everybody drives by it.
But no, you know who I'm surprised that hasn't jumped on NFTs? Shaquille O'Neal. He literally is in everything.
He is.
You know, I'm surprised he hasn't got on board yet. I think he will, though. He will definitely be into it.
There was, I don't know if you saw it, there was like an interview with him about, I saw it on YouTube, and it was about how he gets his money. And he was saying something. He was like, Shaq. He was like, nobody's going to know me in 10 years. He's like, so I sold my name, and he sold his name for like $30 million. And he was like, and I bought Marilyn Monroe and and Elvis. Like, he owns the rights to all their stuff. He's like, because they're gonna be forever. Shaq's not. Like, but
right.
So
smart man.
He has that mind. Like, so I'm telling you, he's gonna show up at the Super Bowl and be like, hey, I'm buying all your Bored Ape yacht clubs that are, because I'm telling you, that's all the Super Bowl is this big plan for Bored Ape yacht club.
Do we have a speculation? Are there things that are going to get dropped that are NFT related? I know there's going to be some crypto stuff. I think FTX has got an ad or something like that.
Well, I know that. So Eminem, Mary J. Blige, both bought a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT right before it was announced they were going to the Super Bowl. Performing at the Super Bowl. And then Snoop did the same thing. So everybody's like, all right, what is this going to be, like a Bored Ape Yacht Club halftime show? But I mean, it's speculation. Nobody knows, but I'm sure there's going to be something with NFT.
Yeah, we'll
NFTs.
see.
That's good because that's the only part of the Super Bowl that I'm interested in watching is the commercials anyway. So
commercials, yeah. They used to be a lot better, but
guy.
They used to be better. I'd like to see Hedera have a Super Bowl ad, man.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they got something up their sleeve.
Maybe they did. I mean, they have. They did. Did you see the pictures? Denver Airport for ETH Denver.
I didn't see that.
Hedera. Oh, I got to send you the tweet. Christian Hasker tweeted it. They have like signs that says, "Are you suffering from network congestion?" Congestion.
Oh, is that the white pill thing? I did see that. I didn't realize it had gotten put at
it's
the
at
airport.
the airport for everybody going to ETH Denver.
That's cool.
Like, so,
I did think that was I thought that was a clever marketing ad.
Yeah, that was good advertising.
But are they going to see it as they're rushing to their gates?
Yeah.
But are you really? Everybody says that. I mean, people tell me, they're like, "Hey, get to the airport 2 hours early." I literally show up like 10 minutes before my flight and make it.
Oh, not me.
But
I'm early.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an
I don't know.
early
I'm never
arrival
rushing
to
around.
I hate the stress of like trying to get on a plane with not very much time left.
You got to get that pre-check thing. TSA pre-check. Just cut the line, go in.
I own it. Don't check me. You know who gets checked all the time? There's Vanessa, my wife. And she gets checked every single time. I don't know if it's because she's Russian, like, or what. But, like, she gets checked. She can be wearing leggings that are, like, skin tight. Like, there's, like, it might as well just be her skin. And they're like, let me check your pants.
Well, there's your answer. But you answered your own question. Yeah.
Do they shoot the air? Do they do that air thing to her?
Usually
you know
it's like a pat down. They'll just have like a woman TSA agent come down and pat her down. I'm just like,
my mother, every time my mother's at the airport, they put her in that machine that like poofs you with air.
Right. The bomb.
Like to see what's on you.
It's sniffing
like,
for
every
like
single time.
gunpowder or something like that.
Yeah, and my pop, he used to, when he worked for the Department of Defense and Air Force, he used to be flying all the time. But he fit back then. The profile was a middle-aged white man, beard, that was the terrorist profile back then. And he used to get stopped all the time.
That's all of us right here.
Yeah. You remember
That's why I travel by train.
Hey, wait, when you say your pop, you mean your father or your grandfather?
He's my grandfather /
Okay.
father. It's not an Alabama situation. He just kind of, raised me, so he's my pop. Pop is pop.
Fam is fam.
That's right.
Yep.
I like this episode. I mean, we touched on a lot of good topics, but also it was just fun hanging out.
Yeah, are we running up against time here?
We are.
All right.
That's why I say it's already
cool. All right. Well, you gentlemen have a fantastic evening again. Thank you, Jacob and Peter. It was great.
You notice I changed my name?
I did. I was like,
oh yeah, that's right, huh?
Electra,
whatever it was before.
I changed it. So I didn't mean to mess up your outro.
No, there's no outro. Yeah, let me get my script for the outro. No, none of this is scripted, people. By the way, just
no.
I don't know if you couldn't tell.
All right. Cool. See you guys later next Wednesday.
Peace, gentlemen. All right.